Hello and God bless you. Well, today we continue our series of Jesus in the Old Testament, where we see stories in the Old Testament of what could be a pre-birth Jesus, a pre-incarnate as some call it, Jesus visiting people in the Old Testament. We're doing this because we know that Jesus was with God from the beginning. And it's just a kind of a little neat series to think about some times that people in the Old Testament feel like they've encountered God, that maybe they've encountered God the Son. We went in part 1, we talked about a picture of God and Jesus from Genesis 15. In part 2, we talked about Hagar getting a visit from Genesis 16. In part 3, we were in Genesis chapter 18 as we've seen God visit Abraham right before they go destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. In part 4, we talked about Jacob having a vision of seeing God on top of a ladder that reached from heaven to earth. And I didn't bring it out in the message, and I'd kind of heard it and never really made the connection until the Lord brought it out to me, because I'm rereading Genesis in my studies, just in my reading the Bible. And when I got to that chapter, I got reminded of when Jesus was talking at the end of John chapter 1, when there was the confession of that he was the Son of God and the King of Israel. He said, you believe because I said I saw you on a tree, but greater things when you see you'll see the angels ascending and descending upon the Son of Man. Didn't make that connection, so maybe we saw a picture of God at the top and a picture of Jesus as the ladder, because Jesus is the mediator between us and God. He's the one that bridges the gap that sin breaks in, and we showed that picture many times. Where it's God and man on one side, then there's this gulf that's torn out in between us, and how the cross bridges that gap. That is also a picture of, I believe, of Jacob's ladder. It was showing Jesus being the bridge between us and God. But I didn't really see that at the time. I apologize for that. That's just something the Lord showed me in my studies. Then in part 5, we talked about Jacob again, how he wrestled with God. God touched the hollow of his hip, and his hip was out of joint. In part 6, we talked about Gideon and how God delivered him against an innumerable army. And today we are going to be in the book of Judges again. Today we'll be reading the entire chapter. And we're in Judges 13. We're going to read from verse 1. And we're going all the way to 25. And once again, this is what we saw last week. And I said we see this a lot in the book of Judges. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord delivered them into the hand of the Philistines 40 years. So as I see, when you read the book of Judges, almost every chapter, not every chapter, because like Gideon's story was over a couple chapters, but you see this quite a bit. They get sold into the hands of the people that are still inhabiting the land, because they keep forgetting that God got them up on top of that mountain. Then there was a certain man of Zorah, of the family of the Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren and bore not. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto the woman and said unto her, Behold, now thou art barren, and bearest not, but thou shalt conceive and bear a son. As we see here, I believe this is Jesus coming in the form of an angel, and he is just like we've seen with Hagar and also Sarah in Genesis 16 with Hagar and Genesis 18 with Sarah, and even actually in Genesis 28 when God visits Joseph as well. We see God predicting the future. Of course, he kind of does in all of them, because in 15 he tells Abraham that, Abram still at the time, about how he's going to have descendants. He even tells him about his descendants going into a foreign land for 400 years and being slaves. So once again we see God is telling about future events. He's telling this woman who is the wife of Manoah, he's telling her that she's barren right now, but she will conceive a son. And we're going to hear all about it right now. Now therefore beware, I pray thee, and drink not wine nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing. And he's telling the wife right here. For lo, thou shalt conceive and bear a son. No razor shall come upon his head, for the child shall be called a Nazarite unto God. From the womb he shall begin to deliver Israel out of the hand of the Philistines. So as we see here, God's making a promise that just like when God visited Gideon and told him that he was going to deliver the people, God's making this promise right now to Samson's mom before Samson's even born. He's telling her that her son is going to deliver Israel out of the hand of the Philistines before he's even born, before he's even conceived yet. Then the woman came and told her husband, saying, A man of God came unto me. His countenance was like the countenance of an angel of God, very terrible. But I asked him not whence he was, neither told me he his name. But he said unto me, Behold, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and now drink no wine nor strong drink, neither eat any unclean thing, for the child shall be a Nazarite to God from the womb unto the day of his death. And I don't believe we've seen unto the day of his death in the chapter when God was saying this, but she's telling him, her husband, Manoah, exactly what just happened to her. And we don't know if this is like immediately. Anyway, let's continue on. Then Manoah entreated the Lord and said, O my Lord, let the man of God which thou didst send come again unto us, and teach us what we shall do unto the child that shall be born. God hearkened to the voice of Manoah, and the angel of the Lord came again unto the woman as she sat in the field, but Manoah her husband was not with her. The woman made haste and ran and showed her husband, and said unto him, Behold, the man hath appeared unto me that came unto me the other day. And Manoah ran. I've got tripped over his words. And Manoah arose and went after his wife, and came to the man, and said unto him, Art thou the man that speaketh to the woman? And he said, I am. Interesting how he said I am there too. We know that's what God said to Moses when he encountered him at the burning bush. And also Jesus said I am when the guards came looking for him in the garden, and the power of him saying I am knocked them on their backs. So Jesus could have fled right then and there. But of course he came to die to deliver us from our sins, so he didn't run. But the power of how he said I am, it put them on their backs. But here the angel says I am as well. Further evidence that this may be possibly Jesus. I believe it is, and I'm not alone. There is people, and we'll talk about it more in our summary. But I believe this could be a pre-birth Jesus. Let's go on to verse 12. And Manoah said, Now let thy words come to pass. How shall we order the child, and how shall we do unto him? And the angel of the Lord said unto Manoah, Of all that I said unto the woman, let her beware. She may not eat of anything that cometh of the vine, neither let her drink wine or strong drink, or eat any unclean thing. All that I commanded her, let her observe. And Manoah said unto the angel of the Lord, I pray thee, let us detain thee until we shall have made ready a kid for thee. So now, just like Moses, he wanted, Abraham, when the three men who were going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah in Genesis 18, Abraham, I'm sorry. I thought I said Moses again. Abraham, he made a meal ready for these men. And that's what Manoah wants to do here, is he wants to prepare a meal for the angel of the Lord. Just like we see with Abraham. And the angel of the Lord said unto Manoah, Though thou detain me, I will not eat of thy bread, and if thou wilt offer a burnt offering, thou must offer it unto the Lord. For Manoah knew not that he was an angel of the Lord. And Manoah said unto the angel of the Lord, What is thy name, that when thy sayings come to pass, we may do thee honor? And this is kind of interesting here. Manoah wants to know the name of the angel so he can name his son after it. That's why you do give people honor. I mean, we still do it today. If you have a son, you may honor your husband by making that son a junior. Or maybe you have a child and you have a family member in your life that you may not call them a junior, but you may name their first name or middle name after a grandfather that you really loved, or an aunt, or whomever. We still do that today, and that's what Manoah wants to do, is he wants to name his son after the name of the angel. Let's see what the angel has to say. The angel of the Lord said unto him, Why ask thou thus after my name, seeing it is a secret? And I wonder if, when he says the secret, if it's because of what Jesus' name means. God saves, God is with us. Maybe that's why he didn't want to say what his name was. So Manoah took a kid with a meat offering, and offered it upon a rock unto the Lord. And the angel of the Lord did wondrously, and Manoah and his wife looked on. For it came to pass when the flame went up towards heaven from off the altar, that the angel of the Lord ascended into the flame, in the flame of the altar, and Manoah and his wife looked on it, and fell on with their faces to the ground. And that's pretty interesting right there. And that would be kind of maybe terrifying in a way, but also just a definitely unusual sight. You're sitting there talking to somebody, and we don't know if he looked like a man or an angel. As it said, by his appearance, his wife thought that it was an angel. But we don't know if he had wings or anything like that. They sitting there talking about to him. But he had a form to where they thought he could eat food, but he didn't want to eat with them. He just said, offer what you're going to feed to me, offer it to God. And then after, when they was burning the stuff on an altar, the angel went into the flame of the altar. And Manoah and his wife are watching it happen. And let's see what they have to say about it. But the angel of the Lord did no more appear unto Manoah and to his wife. Then Manoah knew that it was an angel of the Lord. So it's said in here, by what we read, that the wife from the beginning believed it to be an angel of the Lord, but Manoah was a little hesitant. I don't know who he thought it was, but I mean, we know that he prayed to God to send the men back. But I don't know if he technically knew it was an angel. That's why I wonder if it looked like a man. Because it said previously that he did not know it was an angel of the Lord. And it wasn't until the angel went into the flame that ascended up to heaven that Manoah even knew in his heart that it was an angel of the Lord. And let's continue on. And Manoah said unto his wife, we shall surely die because we have seen God. And we've seen this before in our series as well. Hagar was one that and also Jacob, when he wrestled with God, said he's seen God face to face and yet lives. And same thing happened with Hagar. She said that she's seen God and still lives. You know, people, even before God says to Moses that no one can see my face and live, you know, people still have that understanding that if they see the true God in his true form, they can't live in his presence. And this is what Manoah's thinking right here. He's telling his wife, we're going to die because we have seen God. Let's see what she has to say. But his wife said unto him, if the Lord were pleased to kill us, he would not have received a burnt offering and a meat offering at our hands, neither would he have shown us all these things, nor would he at this time have told us such things as these. So as I said, you know, Manoah, he was believing that they seen God and now they're going to die. And the wife's saying, you know, if God wanted to kill us, he would have. But instead, he received our burnt offering, and he's told us this stuff and showed us things that's going to happen in the future. You know, I can't have a baby if I'm dead, but God told me that I'm going to have a baby, and how I am to prepare my body to not drink any wine or strong drink, and to not eat any unclean thing, and how to raise my son that he's not going to have wine or strong drink, or he's not going to cut his hair and all that. So she had that understanding that she knew God wasn't going to kill him because he received the burnt offering and because the stuff he promised was future. And you can't have a baby and train the child up of how to be raised if you're not here, if you're dead. Let's go on to 24, and it says, "And the woman bore a son, and she called his name Samson. And the child grew, and the Lord blessed him." And now we're going to the last verse of this chapter. "And the Spirit of the Lord began to move him at times in the camp of Dan, between Zorah and Eshtaol." So as we see there in part 7, once again, a story where we believe that Jesus, a pre-birth Jesus, visited people in the Old Testament. Because like I said, we know that Jesus has been there from the beginning. We call John 1:1, "In the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God." Also Revelations 13:8 talks about the people whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. So we know that Jesus was there from the beginning. In John 1:18 it talks about how no one has seen God but Jesus only. Which I always said, I always assumed that Jesus was saying that no one, or they were saying that no one has seen the true form of God except Jesus, because he was the only one who was able to see God before he came. I mean, I guess we all technically do, when God's forming us and stuff, but we may not have the memory of when God's forming us and seeing his true presence. But Jesus was aware of everything that happened before his birth. He remembered seeing Abraham. But also that verse could mean, and what it may possibly be saying is that when people believed that they seen God, it was saying that they didn't see God, they saw Jesus. Anyway, I pray you got something out of this. If you did, give God glory. Like I always say, don't take my word or anybody else's for it. Go read the word for yourself. Study it out. Because, I believe, and I'm not alone with it. I'm going to explain a little bit more in our summary, which will be 2 weeks from now. God willing, anyway. Unless God points out something for me else to bring out. But, I believe that, this was a pre-birth Jesus who came to visit people before he was born. And, like I said, there's people that can take the word and deliberately twist it to their own agenda. And there's some people who may not understand what the word's saying, and they just give you that by their own understanding, or maybe it's revelation of something God gave them that works with their circumstances, but not exactly what the word is saying. It just may be something that encourages them in their walk with God, but it may not actually be what the word intends the meaning to be. So study the word out for yourself. Don't take my word or anyone else's for it. Seek God for yourself. Pray to him. Always have a constant prayer life with God. We're never too busy. When you're getting out of bed, walk into the bathroom to do your morning routine, whatever that may be, just as you're going about your day, just thinking from letting you see the new day. Just pray for strength to encourage whatever we encounter, the strength to encounter it, whatever you got going on, because we all got stresses in life, trying to provide for family, trying to pay bills, and different things of that sort. And God knows our needs, and if we pray to him, he'll help us endure all that. Pray before you read. Just pray for God to show you what he wants you to get out of the word. And after you read, just pray that God just gives you what He wants you to get out of it. Revelation of what you just read. But I hope you got something out of this. If you did, give God glory. We love you. God bless you. We'll see you next week, God willing, as we should be in part 8, our last part. You may recognize the verse, the story from the book of Daniel. I love you. God bless you. Hope you have a great week.